Welcome to Bonn Park. I'm Sarah Geidlinger.
And I'm Marshall Ward.
And this is part 2 of our special 3-part series on the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. The market isn't so much a place as a collection of individuals, each unique with their own memories of the collective experience. For some, memories are triggered by the smell of fresh baking or the sight of endless rows of wares and unique items in vendors' booths.
For me, I get a rush of exhilaration every time I walk through the doors of the main market building and get a whiff of the deliciously fresh, mouth-watering apple fritters.
In part 1, we learned a little bit about the history of the market.
I guess it was 1972. Around that time that the Victoria Street Market was being sold. What we ended up doing is those 5 shareholders, Abner Martin, there were 2 Snyders, Roy Snyder and his brother, and Durbecker, who was in the nursing home business, and Eve Huffman, farmers. We joined together as sort of like 8 partners at that point. And it was in the minds at that point to have a farmer's market because it had started off in Kitchener, seasonally, small, mostly outdoors. That was kind of in the mind of doing it here.
We talked about farmers and the opportunities that they had coming into the market.
The way we raise livestock today was still like how we raised livestock 45 years ago when we started. Our first farm that we bought was in 1975. In 1978, November the 18th was the first day of market. So we would take our livestock, take them to other slaughterhouses, and bring them back to the farm, cut them up, and bring them to the market.
We learned about some of the family values.
So when we started in the Peddlers Village, we were on the other side of where we currently are. There was this little tiny food court. This was before the fire. And every single vendor helps each other. So, for example, the coffee booth. If we saw that people needed coffee, I would run out of the booth. I'd go serve them coffee. You know, if I had to leave my booth, they would come into my booth and they would tell my customers to wait a couple of minutes, or if it was something that they could serve them with, they would do it too. The pretzel booth that's next door to us, it was the same thing. It really is just a little family at the market. Like, we all jump around and help each other out as best as we possibly can.
And we learned about the market community.
You know, the customers and our employees, they all say it's like family down here. The other vendors are like family because you see them every week that you're at the market. The same customers come down to the market, so you almost know them by name. And everybody's always happy. It's just a special thing to be able to work at a market and not like in a grocery store or even at our own stores. The market it's a different vendor experience, and it's a different shopping experience.
We also got to hear some favorite memories.
Joe Nechtel came, I think, from Victoria Street as well. He was probably in his 70s when I met him, and vendors called him the man with the cowboy hat. So Joe and I would be out in the mornings before the sun is up, and the vendors are lining up. And yeah, in those days, we had a little pack that we carried and a receipt book, and people would crowd all around and be looking for their space. So we didn't have the maps out. We just kind of walked around and found a spot for them. And actually, those were the days.
Welcome to Bonn Park.
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 Do you enjoy Bonn Park Podcast?
If so, we would really appreciate it if you
Leave a review,
like, rate, subscribe, but most importantly,
share directly from the platforms
with your family and friends. That's the best way to get the word out to everybody, and more people will get to see our show that way. So click those like buttons and share our show. Thank you.
Thanks.
On with the show. This is it. Hello, Bonn Park listeners. Marshall and I are going to take you on a tour of the market. Okay, Marshall, let's head into the main market building,
where we'll meet Kipfer's Heritage Farms, their neighbors La Abuela, Kitchen Cuttings, and Cedarwood Honey.
At Kipfer's Heritage Farms, we're going to meet Joanna, and we get to hear the story of how she started out at the market and where she is now.
Thank you. Hi there, I'm Joanna Kipfer from Kipfer's Heritage Farms.
So I started working at this market when I was about 16. I worked at Helenda's Meats for 5 years. My brother wanted to start a business selling the pork that he raised. He asked me to manage it, so we started a small booth in the tarp building in the coverall, and we were there for a couple of years until we moved into this spot here in the main building. From pork, we moved on to chicken. We also got into having our own eggs. We do free-range eggs, 100%. Everything comes from small flocks, small farms. And they've done really well for us, so we're happy with that. Throughout the years, I got to know my customers pretty well, but throughout the pandemic, I got to know them even better. When the market was closed, they would call me, I would do deliveries and pickups, and for the first time ever, I learned their names, where they lived, a lot more things about them. That was one good thing the pandemic did for us. I got to know a lot of my customers very, very well, and I still do. We can talk about lots more than we did before the pandemic, so that was great. And then just getting to know people at the market, I always liked it. We all do. All of our staff are really into getting to know our customers. We always have been, and our fellow vendors are very important as well, because working together, it helps everyone out. It's great to see what everyone else sells, getting to know them on a first name basis. I like knowing practically all of my neighbors. I was here for the transition as well when Sheila Shawns left the market, so we were here for that goodbye speech upstairs. Very touching, and yes, it was great what they all did for the market.
Right beside Kipfer's Heritage Farms is La Abuela, and we talked to Gerardo Borboya, and he tells us all about his authentic Mexican street food, his culture, his pride, his love for the market, and how much he admires our hardworking Mennonite community and how grateful he is to live in this part of Ontario.
Yeah, I think Jerry could have his own radio show or podcast.
I do too.
Hello, good morning. My name is Gerardo Borboya. I am from Mexico. I born in Mexico, in my city, Querétaro. I'm staying in Canada for 15 years ago. And now I'm staying in this beautiful St. Jacob's Farmer Market. And this is my place, La Abuela Mexican Street Food. And this is a paradise for the people who love the authentic Mexican food. Again, I live in Mexico for 45 years. And I'm missing my country, my culture, because do you remember, for the Mexican people, it's very important, the food. It's part for the culture. Let me tell you, with coming to this market, because it's in Waterloo, Ontario. This part for Ontario is amazing because have a huge community of people, Mennonites. These are beautiful people. It's two hard workers. In this market, it's a beautiful because have too many choices for food, too many choices for buy something for craft, for art craft, and also for vegetables. Again, because in this part for Ontario, have a huge land and have a producers for vegetables and sausage and meat and everything. Really, really, I'm excited to stay here in this beautiful market because it's a beautiful. The vendors is amazing. Is friendly. The people, the staff is so beautiful. The staff, the installations is the first level. Again, it's a beautiful place for you coming with your family, your kids. It's secure, it's friendly. I don't know, it's perfect for coming with your family. I'm here and I'm waiting for you come and visit me.
Across the aisle from La Abuela is Kitchen Cuttings, and they've been at the market for over 30 years with their specialty food and their amazing cheese. Their quality of service really is what keeps me coming back over and over again. Kitchen Cuttings has been my family's go-to place for quality cheese. We love their cheese curds, and recently I picked up some of their 10-year-old cheddar, which was incredible. And also they now have ghost pepper cheddar. We love it all.
For me, my go-to is the Gouda with caraway. Yummy.
Hi, I'm Ruth from Kitchen Cuttings at the St. Jacob's Farmers Market. I've been here for 30 years. Working with cheese is a pleasure. You get to find out what people like and what they don't like. The great variety we have from all over, local, Canada and imported. Yes, it has been aged naturally. It's been stored, and then the flavor just increases as you get the years to it. For some people, it's the favorite. You only need a small piece and you got the taste in it. It is different kinds that are the specialty. We also started in with the goat and the sheep, which are made local. The great variety we have from all over, local, Canada and imported, gives a good taste and whatever preferences people have.
Then right beside Kitchen Cuttings is Cedarwood Honey. This is a family-run beekeeping operation that has over 20 years worth of beekeeping experience. We'll meet Karen. Her upbeat energy and enthusiasm is evident when you meet her, and her beautiful kids help out in her booth. I actually bought honey sticks, a candle, some lip balm, and creamed honey when I was there last time.
Hi, I'm Karen from Cedarwood Honey, and we're here at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. Cedarwood Honey is by Henry Cornelson. He's just outside of Harriston, Ontario, which is about 45 minutes outside of Kitchener-Waterloo area. He's been a beekeeper for over 25 years. He's family-run business. He loves enjoying being out with the bees. I would say the most popular honey is the wildflower. Everyone enjoys it because there are so many uses they can be done with it. Okay, coming into the market building here in St. Jacobs, you will see many different vendors. You will see many different faces smiling at you every day here. Well, I can say that I've been coming here to the St. Jacobs Market as a family when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Like, it was a big trip coming out to the market and seeing all the different vendors. And it's great to come inside because you can see so many different local farm industries here. It is great having my own little ones here at the booth too certain days. Especially right now, they're not in their school. So what better way to get a really good education? Have them here at the market. They're learning their math skills and they're learning their major one skill in life. Learn how to talk to people, be outgoing, and helping others.
Marshall, let's head around the corner now and visit Marianne Witzel of the Fritter Company. They've been here as long as Kitchen Cuttings, 33 years. This is a go-to destination for many market goers. The Fritter Company offers these fresh, delicious apple fritters, and you can smell them as soon as you come around that corner. Marianne talks about simplicity and using local ingredients, her efficient and friendly team, and the growth of the market over the past 3 decades.
Hello, I'm Marianne Witzel from the Fritter Company. The Fritter Company got started 33 years ago. I was a young mom at home. I had 4 small children, and my husband, he worked at the Ontario Livestock Exchange, and it was suggested that maybe somebody put apple fritters in. I was wanting a part-time job, but not knowing quite what I wanted. That's where it started. And then I thought, I can't do this alone when my children are sick or whatever, and you're going to need a partner. So I called in on my sister Joanne, who was looking to start a family and looking for part-time work as well. What makes our fritters incredibly yummy is that it's an old recipe that we got from my husband's aunt, who we've cherished, and she came out to start us with it. It's a very simple recipe. We keep things simple. We buy local food, all our products local apples, and we just keep it simple. And we slice the apples on a on an automatic peeler, and then they are dipped in a batter, deep fried, rolled in cinnamon sugar, and then served to your liking. Striking a balance is having good employees. That makes a huge difference. We all work together as a team. Communication has to stay wide open, and it's hot in there, so we do take turns. Every half hour we do a switch in where you're working to keep things moving and organized. Well, as over the 33 years when we first started, we just had one market building. We were mesmerized at the amount of people that were there. And as over the years, the market has grown, the outside vendors and peddlers' villages have been involved, and now we have the extra tent and the new building. It has just grown substantially, and there are so many families in business that survive by our industry here, and that what we provide to the customers, local and from far and wide.
And right beside the Fritter Company is Country Cravings, where we'll meet Nancy Stevens. And they are known for their hot, fresh food, like their back bacon and egg sandwiches, roast and corned beef sandwiches, and their famous homemade burgers. Even their t-shirts say, best burger ever.
Yeah, they swear by that. They say this is the best burger in town, so go check it out.
So, hi, my name is Nancy Stevens, and I am a fast food vendor here at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. My booth is Country Cravings, and I've been a vendor here for almost 22 years, I think, 23 maybe. We have a large I'd say, volume of repeat customers. We have a loyal customer base, people who have been with us well before the fire. So we have regulars that come every week, get the exact same sandwich. Edith and Nancy that work with me, we know their names, we know what they want on their sandwiches, and it is nice to see people trickling back in after the pandemic, as it was after the fire. People return to us, and now it's happening again, and hopefully we'll even continue more so over the summer. So, well, Country Cravings, we're all about the fresh, hot food. So we do back bacon on a bun, we do a back bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, and we sell homemade hamburgers. Our shirts even say best burgers ever on them. People talk about the local burgers, the Harmony burger, the other burger, but the Country Cravings Farmers Market burger is the unsung hero. It's delicious, and people come every single week to get it. People drive from London, people drive from St. Catharines and the Toronto area to get our homemade burgers or back bacon on a bun. So yeah, come on down and see us every Thursday and Saturday, and we're always smiling even though we have masks on.
All right, Marshall, a little bit further down is Charles Quality Meats. We learned about Charles Quality Meats and the Bruto family in the first episode, and Sam will now share some insight into their family's reputation for not only their high-quality meats, but also their stellar customer service over the years. They really believe in their product, and it comes through when you talk to them.
My father has taught us two things. Treat people the way you want to be treated as a customer. They're the one paying your bills. So you better respect them right when you look them in the eyes and say, "Can I help you? Good morning. What's for dinner tonight? What are you having for dinner tomorrow?" And make sure that food, that product that you bring to the market is food that you would eat it yourself or your family. And if it's not, don't bring it. If you can't stand behind your product, stay away from that product. Every single day. I got better quality control. And this is we didn't talk about. We would take our animals to other slaughterhouses when we started off, and we weren't getting our own animals back. And that's why my dad said, we've got to do something about it. In 1980, we built our own slaughterhouse. So it was for 3 years that we ran without a slaughterhouse. But we were slaughtering our own animals, bringing our own animals to market, which is so important. When you bring a lamb that you know what it's supposed to look like on fat, and then you get an animal with 2 inches of fat on it, that's not my animal. So they were getting switched. Says, is that the way you want to be treated? No. So you take care of it yourself, do it yourself. Yeah, it's grunt work. It's hard, back-breaking work. But we have to do it that way. If we can't do it that way, don't do it. I don't know if our kids are going to take over. I honestly don't. In the slaughterhouse business, it's not easy. But we got to find something to make sure that we keep that product the same.
All right, let's head around the corner and visit Edgar Garrick of Adrian Holsteins, and they've been maple syrup producers since 1987. This is always a destination for my family when we pick up their maple butter, their maple candies, and my kids' favorites, the taffy cones. And also, I love looking at Edgar's world map with all its pins representing the countless visitors he has met from all over the world.
He's very proud of that.
I'm Edgar Gingrich. I've been tending St. Jacob's Farmers Market for 32 years now. I've been making maple syrup 34 years. It's quite a place. You meet a lot of people. I guess I just make a lot of friends here. That's what keeps me coming. People come back, they put a pin on my map, and they remember 2 years ago they put a certain pin in, and they were from other side of the world. They remember this place. So me and my wife do the bottling, and I'm in with my son now. He's took over the farm. So we tap about 3,400. So it's quite a project in the spring.
Edgar's neighbor just down the way here is Coddle's Catch. We'll be talking to Ron Coddle, and he shares the story of his seafood business with us in the first episode of our market series. When we chatted with Ron, he talked about how important his staff is to Coddle's Catch. Some of them have been with him for over 20 years. Like Sam Labruto, Charles Quality Meats, customer service is a top priority. Ron also tells us about friendships at the market.
Hi, I'm Ron Coddle, the Codfather from Coddle's Catch Seafood. Whatever customers want, that's what we'll try to get them. And you know, there's people that we've developed personal friendships with that were customers or vendors at the market. It's just such a neat experience. And I'm glad my kids were able to experience it and my parents were able to experience it because there's nothing else like it. So 34 years ago when I started the market, I probably worked there for the first 15 years off and on, and then our business kept growing and growing and growing and got me to stay into the office more, dealing with importers and customers and so on. So I didn't get to come to the market. I don't get to come to the market as often as I used to, but I really enjoy coming down here now and watching our stand and seeing the customers go up and our employees making them happy. But I like to go to the food court and, get some of those French fries and stuff like that now. The craft people are incredible. And then, of course, the outside produce vendors. We do some shopping when we're down here for sure. So at Coddles, we put our staff through a training program on product knowledge because we want them to be able to talk openly, honestly, and most importantly, accurately about seafood. So where it comes from, how to store it, and how to cook it and serve it. So we're very proud of that fact. And, at Coddles, we've built a reputation on quality and service and not just price. So we think that's more important. We give all of our staff 1 pound of seafood a week to take home and cook with a recipe. So, we've got some staff that have been with us over 22 years. So they've cooked a lot of seafood. So when you come into Coddles and ask a staff member, how do you cook this piece of salmon? They've probably cooked it about 20 or 30 times already. So they're giving you an honest answer. And that's what we built our business on is customer service. And I've always told my staff, do what you think I would do. Make the customer happy. And then after that, we'll figure out where we go forward. So our mission statement is to enable our employees to let a customer have the best seafood experience possible.
Sara, let's head upstairs to the second floor, the mezzanine of the main market building, which is another favorite spot for my family. It's really a community all its own. We learned speaking to the vendors.
Our first stop is Sunnyside Up. They've been providing quality sheepskin and leather goods, proudly made in Canada since 1974. And we speak with owner Ray Anderson. I love this guy. He's an incredibly talented craftsperson who sees his work as a lifestyle. And he truly cares about the other vendors in the mezzanine, who he describes as a tight group.
My name is Ray Anderson. My business name is Sunnyside Up Crafts. Sunnyside Up started back in 1974. Actually, before the business started, I was a young hippie living in a commune in downtown Kitchener, working on government grants in the summertime to teach kids in group homes different crafts and stuff. And I was doing a little bit of leather work. And it sort of got started from that. And in 1974, I got married to a young woman who was also quite handy, who is still to this day my business partner and my wife. And we decided to give the craft business a go. And we've been doing this now for 47 years. Had been on the list here, and Sheila Shantz called me up one day and said, I'm coming down to look at your stuff again, and I think I have a spot for you. And I've now been at St. Jacobs for 30 years. The Shantzes did a great job here. It was one of the best moves I ever made. As a craftsperson, we don't do it for the money. We do it because of it's a lifestyle, and I like to create things. The people up here on the mezzanine level are pretty tight. We have a few new ones. We're very helpful to every day. We connected with each other online just to see how everybody was doing. But it's just to keep in touch and to keep our sanity. And because it is a tight group up here, and these are people that I care about. They mean a lot to me here. And the Shantzes are very involved here, and Sheila was good. If you had an issue, she had the people in front of her to weed out the little stuff, and then if it was serious, she'd get involved with it. Never had any issues with them at all. I think they're tremendous community builders, not just at the market, but this whole area up here. And this area would look nothing like this and wouldn't have the tourism support if it wasn't for the Shantzes. Schlegels are doing a good job so far. They haven't been here very long, but what I see, I like. We've got a good bunch in the office. It's a treat to see the employees smiling and friendly and walking around, saying hello to everybody. And it's a great place. I love the market. I love coming here. I really miss it when I'm not here.
Let's head down to the other end of the mezzanine to visit with Mary of Jacqueline's, selling handcrafted jewelry that our kids just love. We could spend like an hour just browsing the jewelry. And Mary's enthusiasm for the market is pretty evident, and she has so much appreciation and respect for her fellow vendors in the mezzanine.
Hi, my name is Mary Wybrow, and I work for Sid and Jackie Vass in their lovely booth called Jacqueline's upstairs at the Market Building. Also, can I just say about why I really love working here to start with? I've worked with Jackie and Sid since about 2013, and we're really good friends. And one of the reasons why I love working at the market so much is because of all the wonderful people that I get to meet. I was a teacher in downtown Toronto for 37 years, and so this was a huge change for me. I started teaching in 1971. I retired in 2002, and we moved here, my son and I, in 2002. But I've been selling jewelry with them for a long time. It's very interesting because we're never bored up here. The vendors here are all very good. We're all very good friends, and we like to see everything that's going on, and that's really important. The most important thing is, and someone mentioned this in your first podcast, about how we all kind of look after each other and do things to help each other. It can get pretty busy up here, but people have been following the rules for COVID. That's pretty well it. It's just a good feeling of cooperation and friendliness. Jackie and Sid are both, first of all, they're wonderful people. They're my friends. I work for them. But they're extremely creative as well. So they do all of the creative stuff and the actual setup and everything. People, they love the elegance and the brightness of the booth, and that attracts them to come in. They often will say how beautiful this booth is. They work really hard to get good quality things for the things that they don't make themselves, like our stainless steel rings.
Mary then introduced us to Jeannie B. That's where Marshall and I discovered Jeannie's photo chalkboards, along with her baking booth selling spruce wood handmade cookies downstairs. Jeannie is a fairly new vendor to the market, but it's obvious she fits right in with her neighbors. She's already made friends with Mary.
Hi there, my name's Jean Bancroft, and I have 3 booths here at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. We have one upstairs in the main market building, which is Jeannie B photo chalkboards. We have a second Jeannie B photo chalkboard booth over at the tent, and a spruce wood cookie booth in the main building on the main floor. So Jeannie B photo chalkboards is a product that my husband Dan and I developed about 5 years ago. And basically what they are is a really dynamic looking fine art photo that has the same functionality as a chalkboard. So you can use them for messages, to-do lists, inspirational boards, whatever you'd normally use a whiteboard or chalkboard for. We have the best neighbors in the whole market right upstairs here, especially in this corner. We've got a lot of energy and enthusiasm. We all talk to each other regularly, very supportive group. So when there's a space became available downstairs, we know how popular Mark's cookies are. They're made in Coburg in small batches by hand. All natural product. There's no preservatives, no additives. The thing that's unique about Mark's product at Sprucewood Handmade Cookie Company is that they offer a savory and a sweet shortbread. So the savory shortbreads are amazing for charcuterie boards. And then, of course, they're sugar-free, so diabetic friendly. And then the other ones are just everybody's favorite classic shortbread, lemon, lavender. One of my favorite spots to go. Downstairs, Victoria has a smoothie booth, which I go to every single day for salad for lunch. So
as we head out of the main market building, Marshall, through the front doors we came in, actually, we say hello to Irene Patrikas at Olive Divine, whose family we met in the first episode, where we talked about their 3 distinct businesses at the market, Olive Divine, Yoda Leather, and A Taste of Greece, where we're actually going to go next to pick up some lunch in the Peddler's Village building. So A Taste of Greece serves up delicious and traditional Mediterranean cuisine, like their famous gyros, chicken and pork souvlaki, Greek salad, spanakopita, baklava, all prepared in-house from scratch with recipes passed down from generations. So we talk with Stella Mandalis, who runs A Taste of Greece with her husband, Jamie. Stella actually grew up at the market, and now so is her sweet little daughter. Stella tells us a lot about family unity, along with a funny story about her father's secret family recipe for their souvlaki.
I just got back to work in the past 2 weeks because we had a baby through COVID. But the security guard that we have working here at the market, I was talking to him and he was telling me how he grew up at the market because they live nearby and he'd come with his dad. And we were just talking and I was telling him that Angelo's my father with the leather jackets. And he was saying, yeah, my dad knows your dad. He would come by the market and they would just sit and chit chat together. And he would do that every Saturday. So I thought that was nice to hear. Our parents taught us from a very young age to be respectful of other people and also to work very hard. Watching them over the years, them coming from Europe, struggling to make a business for themselves and for their children, it's been really nice. Like to watch them work at the market, to teach us how to work. From a young age, I've been running around the market with my father, also him pretending that I'm working with him, giving me my own little belt bag, serving the customers, at that point helping with the leather belts to sell. And then with the food, I started with my mom on Saturdays because I was in school back then. And then in the summertime, we would work Thursdays and Saturdays with them. They really show you how to work and how to support yourself and how to be close together as a family. And we're hoping to instill that in our children when they grow up too. My dad asks Esme all the time, when are we going to bring you to the market? When are you going to start learning how to work? Because she loves to eat her food. So she has to learn how to serve it, right? Over the years with the family recipe and stuff, the reason my father still makes the souvlaki and helps me out with that is because that is his own secret that he hasn't shared with any of us, not his wife, not his children. My husband has asked for the recipe and my dad's like, when my father has to go away to Greece and we make them ourselves, my dad gives us the pre-seasoning all mixed together for us. He always tells us that he will show us how to do it, but he never does. Over the years with the market, it was nice having the Chances over the years. They also instilled a family unity with the market. And since they sold it to the Schlegels, they're still like that. Sheila's parents have been coming to the market and continually supporting us still. I mean, we haven't seen them through COVID, again, which is understandable. But prior to that, they like to stop by, they like to visit, they like to order their food. It's been nice seeing them. And Sheila and her husband does well the same thing. So it's been nice, you know, and then the change with the Schlegels, the same thing. It's been nice having this nice family community here with us and seeing that the market is still continuing to grow.
Sarah, let's take a moment and hear from our sponsor.
Bonn Park is supported by Marie Sharp's Canada. Marie Sharp's Fine Foods has been making amazing all-natural pepper sauces in Belize since 1981. You've probably tried one of Marie Sharp's 18 signature hot sauces, available in stores and restaurants around the world. But they do so much more. They make fruity chutneys, a coconut spread, as well as 7 other amazing Caribbean jams and a delicious green cactus salsa, as well as a line of tropical drinks to quench your thirst. Marie Sharp's Canada is about more than food, too. They give back to the community. They recently partnered with Canadian singer-songwriter Danny Michel to raise thousands of dollars for a high school in Belize, and they're currently looking for additional partners for more local and national fundraisers. Learn all about their products and their passions at mariesharpscanada.com. Thank you to Marie Sharp's Canada for helping our meals and our world become even better. Please go to mariesharpscanada.com to order or to find further fundraising information on how to help your group or cause.
Back at the main market building, we met Gerardo Borboya of La Abuela, serving up authentic Mexican street food. And in Peddler's Village, just a ways down from a Taste of Grease, we met Jerry's wife Yvonne Garces, who runs their second of 3 spots they have at the market, as you can find them also outdoors during the summer months. Jerry and Yvonne came to Canada 17 years ago and are so proud to be a family-owned business at the market, and that families love their high-quality chorizo and their other traditional Mexican dishes like their tasty tacos, gorditas, tortas, burritos, and their amazing churros.
And I love their salsas.
Well, hi, my name is Yvonne Garces. I'm a Mexican woman, very excited to promote my business here at St. Jacobs Farmers Market. We are called La Abuela Mexican Street Food. Here you can find with us all kind of different Mexican dishes, very, very traditional dishes. I always mention about chorizo because we are chorizo makers. We are the only Mexican chorizo that is produced in Canada with Canadian pork, proudly from Ontario. So you have to come and try our chorizo. It's only pork, it doesn't have any other additives, all natural ingredients, and it's federal approved, meaning that we can sell all across Canada. So we are inspected by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. We are a family-owned business. We have been in Canada for over 17 years already, and we started since the very beginning as a family-owned business. I remember my little daughter coming from Mexico when she was 6 years old, and she started working with us at the same time that we opened a restaurant. Thanks God, we just moved to Ontario, and that's why we are here at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. Everything is about family. All our vendors are kind of a family thing. We wake up with the same people, we dream with the same people. It's an amazing environment for families. I have my little customers starting from 1.5 years. They're the best buyers of the churros, the amazing churros that we have. And now they are 4 or 5 years old and they still come and they already call me auntie. I have a little one that says, instead of calling by my name, she believes that my name is Hola Tia, which means hi auntie. but she believes actually that I'm Hola Tia. So, which is great. This is a very, very nice environment for family. We welcome you guys all, and we'll make you feel like a family. The biggest farmers market and the most important market, not only in Ontario, but about all Canada, it was the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. So for us, it was a dream. So for us, it's the greatest experience ever. And we are so happy and very proud to be part of the St. Jacobs Farmers Market.
Sarah, I could spend hours in the Peddler's Village every time I visit. It's packed with so much great stuff. So many things I've bought over the years. I'm talking about old magazines and used books, comics, vintage toys, video games, vinyl records. There's fashion and jewelry, housewares, souvenirs, collectibles, ornaments, and of course, lots of great food.
And amazing characters. Marshall, vendors and visitors love visiting the White Market tent. We'll be speaking with 3 of the vendors inside, starting with Michaela Lomax at Full of Beans. There's practically always a lineup at Full of Beans, but it moves quickly. Most people are return customers who know a great cup of coffee when they find it.
I'm Michaela Lomax. I work at Full of Beans. I've been working here for 6 years since I was just a little grade 9 in high school. I was born and raised here in Waterloo. My sister actually used to work at the same booth before the market burned down. Full of Beans was founded like 30-ish years ago by the previous owner. Her name's Inika Compuis. Her husband actually built everything in the booth, all the shelving and stuff. It's really cool. We sell tons of coffee bought from local roasters, specialty drinks, ice drinks, all this cool stuff. The market's a great atmosphere too. Everyone's just happy to be here, which helps. And everyone that works here as well comes to our booth for coffee, so that's nice. You get to know all the vendors, everyone who works here, on top of your customers. Well, our brewed coffee is super popular just because it's good. It's actually quality beans. So our house blend Supreme Deluxe, which is a medium roast, is very popular. But also we have really good flavors that aren't sweet. So people love that. They'll come for the vanilla hazelnut or the caramel crunch literally from hours driving just to get the beans or a cup of coffee, which is great. And we also have an amazing espresso machine, which was actually designed by Bugatti. So people come out of their way to get Americanos, espresso, and stuff like that too, because like I said, it's very good quality.
Right next to Full of Beans is the Tamale Girl, where we meet Kathy, who tells us all about her handmade authentic tamales. And I love the fact they have vegan and vegetarian options, and their food is always 100% gluten-free, dairy-free, and delicious.
Their booth always stands out with its eye-catching, bright and colorful style. Kathy is truly an artist, along with her daughter, Cleo, who helps out.
Hi, I'm Kathy Hanshaw, the Tamale Girl. I'm a vendor at St. Jacobs Market. Tamales are a traditional Mexican food. They're a steamed food, and they're wrapped in a corn husk, which we do not eat. When you're making tamales, you're putting down a layer of corn masa, which is a corn flour mixture, and then different fillings inside. So I have many meat varieties, chicken, I even do a shrimp fajita, beef brisket, very delicious fillings, and then many vegan and vegetarian options. Tamales are naturally gluten-free and dairy-free. A lot of people will order one as a hot food item, fall in love with it, and then decide they want to have more at home and cook on their own in leisure. So then I sell them fully cooked and frozen. So of course, learned to make tamales in Texas, where I'm originally from. Family thing, learned from my family, and I've incorporated having my daughter work with me, Cleo, since she was about 8. She was coming with me to festivals, and now of course she works the front at St. Jacobs. You gotta love what you're doing and believe in your product. And I'm very lucky that I've got a great co-pilot working with me every Saturday, just being a super helpful young lady. I'm really proud of her. For 17, getting up at 5 in the morning, you couldn't ask for more. She definitely has flair. She likes dressing kind of fun, very expressive. She's an artist as well. So a lot of that comes through here. And of course, I'm all for individuality and expressing yourself and diversity.
Lastly, we're going to visit the Shea Butter man and talk to Thomas about how proud he is to show off his Shea Butter to visitors and how much he loves being in the White Market tent. This is a great product too. I love this stuff.
My name is Thomas Amowa. The Shea Butter has been my childhood product. The work of the product is amazing. Use it from head to toe, dry skin, crack feet. 12 years ago, I established Shea Butter Man Shop here in St. Jacob. It has been embraced, so it makes me feel so good as you try it on. The shea is a fruit. It's an edible fruit that we eat. And the seed inside, we crack it open. The membrane, the pit, is the butter. We use it for everything. Use it for cooking. Use it, as the earliest people said, if you cannot eat it, do not put it on your skin because it's absorbed into you. So shea has been a fruit that grows in Ghana, West Africa, and the work of it is amazing. My grandmother said there was a medicine before doctor was born, and it's true. It has no man-made product, no chemical of any kind, and it's just shea. That's it. Has no additive of any kind, and that is how simple it is. And the work of it is phenomenal. The market tent is awesome. The market tent was initially the actual market building here in this market. And as you all heard of it, it caught on fire and they established the tent. The tent is an opening space, bright. It was temporary. It was going to be temporary, but at the same time, because of how nice and how bright it is, the market decided to keep it. And then it's amazing. There's a space, room, and the marking for the management keep people safe in this place. We are not jammed on. And as a matter of fact, many customers like to come to this place because it's opening wide and bright.
Marshall, before we head out of the White Market tent building, let's hit up some of our other favorites on this side, like the small batch cider, Sen Cuisine. We love Hannah's Tofu, Wilda Brand, and Bake My Day Butter Tarts.
Sarah, let's head outside to the outdoor vendors, which is such a huge, amazing, beautiful space in the summertime. Some of the outdoor vendors we spoke to in the first episode outdoors was Voisin's Family Farms, 100 Mile Produce, and Romanoli Farms. This time we're going to stop by and visit with country style products and meet Rhonda.
We love their jams, chutneys, horseradish, but especially their famous red pepper jelly.
Hi, my name's Rhonda. We're at Country Style Products here at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. We've been vendors here since 1977 when my mom started. We're third generation vendors. So when we started at the St. Jacobs Farmers Market, there was actually a giant stockyards here, and there was just an outside row of vendors, and people would just pull up in their pickup trucks. I probably would have been, maybe 5-6 years old, getting into the pickup truck with my mom in the morning, and coming here, and she'd set up, and I'd go around and probably play. I don't think I worked too hard. So at Country Style Products, as I said, my mom's been a vendor here since 1977. So we use her secret recipes, which have been handed down for 3 generations. We produce our local products using fresh local fruits and vegetables from the market, such as fresh fruit jams, pies, amazing chutneys and relishes, salsa, and of course our famous red pepper jelly. So at Country Style Products, when we produce all our jams, jellies, relishes, we purchase all our ingredients from local farmers here to keep our economy moving. And I do think that it makes the best products when you can get local and you can preserve them fresh.
Another longtime vendor is Margaret of Franny's Farmhouse. She makes fantastic gluten-free, easy-to-prepare foods that our families really enjoy. I love the popcorn myself. Margaret tells us about the early days of the market, her mother Franny, and her appreciation for Sheila Shance's leadership.
I'm Margaret Frenzel. The business is Franny's Farmhouse in memory of my mother, who was Franny, who loved to cook, loved to entertain, always had people at her house. She was a cook that just kind of threw things together without recipes, and everything came out yummy and delicious, but that's not easy for everybody to do. So I created a line of mixes to make things easy for your family or for company, to make it homemade, delicious, simple, and really healthy. I first met Sheila Shantz about 20 some odd years ago. We had 2 different markets here. We had the Waterloo Market and we had what was at that time the Stockyards Market. Got to know Sheila a lot better. She was a person who was very, very caring of her vendors. She always came around and she made sure that you were doing your best job. She wanted you to put your best foot forward. She encouraged me to make a display that would grab people's attention and really show off my product to its best ability. And like with many small business owners, I stumbled after I had started, got a little too big for my britches too fast, and was sort of ready to throw in the towel, and Sheila really encouraged me to go back at it, look at it again, take a fresh perspective, and she got me started on packaging the spice mixes, and a little differently than what I had been doing, and marketing them a little differently. And she came to check on me all the time to make sure that everything was going well, and my business it took off from that. When Sheila retired, I was very sad to see her go from the market. She was really a wonderful face for the market, and a great contributor.
Marshall, the 2013 fire at the market was a devastating experience for many vendors, management, and for our community.
Yeah, seeing the news footage is still very vivid in my mind.
The video is hard to watch, a piece of local history, a community meeting place, and a well-known tourist destination has been devoured by fire. Crews were called to the St. Jacobs Farmers Market just before 2 o'clock this morning. Smoke and flames followed by sirens pulled people who live nearby from their beds in the middle of the night. The fire, though, spread quickly. The building collapsed less than an hour after crews arrived. Today, there is nothing left. The market sits in ruins.
Ooh, that fire. That was a very emotional day.
Labor Day 2013 was a horrendous, gut-wrenching moment for us.
I started getting phone calls. And people, Marianne from the Fritter company called me and said, it's gone. It's all gone.
My daughter Irene called me. Tell Mom, somebody called me and tell that the building is on the fire. And she come with her pajamas here on the night. I want to cry.
It must have been 4 o'clock in the morning, and I came, and I remember we were standing on the fence just looking at the firefighters trying to...
I still remember exactly where I was. We couldn't believe it. Like, it was just everywhere you went. That was all that everyone was talking about.
There was nothing that we could do. It was fully engulfed.
Yeah, the fire brings back a bit of PTSD for me, but it's fine. We closed up shop on the Saturday. I came here Monday morning and we looked through the fence, and yeah, there was nothing. I have one thing in particular left from the fire. They pulled a kettle out of the fire that was in my booth. It's amazing that one kettle survived when everything else was completely gone.
Well, hi, I'm Ken Sealing. I'm the former regional chair for the region of Waterloo for 33 years, and prior to that for 7 years as mayor of Woolwich Township, and prior to that 2 years as a Woolwich councillor. So I've got a lot of history tied up in this area. Well, it was rather interesting. I heard on the news that there was a fire at the market, and so we drove down. By the time we got down here, the building was pretty much down and smoldering, and it was the loss of a bit of an icon for the community around here. The building was more of a traditional style market, wood and frame, not in the modern structure, and it had encompassed a lot of vendors that people knew for a long time. It was just something that was part of the community, and people saw it as the loss of a major icon. Obviously, as the regional chair, we were interested in economic activity and tourism, community building, and because I lived in this area as well, too, I had a particular interest in it. And so I'd known the Sean's family for a long, long time, and watched with great interest as what they were doing and what they were doing to recover from all of this, knowing that many vendors were local who depended on the market. There were many people who shopped here who depended on it, and wondering just exactly where this was going to go. There was some fear and some speculation that the property might be redeveloped into something else. Winds were prevailing the other way, and so the stockyard survived, and that meant the operation here survived. And I think the Seanses clearly had an interest in maintaining the market, maintaining the tourism business, and rebuilding here. And I think I watched with great interest what they did, how quickly they moved to put up the new quote and unquote temporary building, which is still standing today as a vendor building, and then plan to develop a new building to replace the old one. Everything that they did to keep the market functioning during the time that the rebuilding was taking place was kudos to them for doing that. That the temporary building, the outdoor market stalls, all of that kept the market alive and moving along. Well, I think the thing that will tell you that it is highly regarded beyond the community was the number of buses that came here, and the fact that it was a major tourist attraction and was featured in many of the things. There are other good markets in this region. The Kitchener Market, which is in a newer building now. The Cambridge Market itself is quite unique in its building down there. So all three are slightly different, and they offer something slightly different. In the case of this one, it is a unique blend, I think, of the rural section. So I think that it has a uniqueness, the kind of thing that if you were going to spend a day or half a day someplace, it's just fun to come. I think it offers the best of all worlds. I think the commitment of the Shantz family, the fact that they used a local designer to do that and maintain the wooden structure, and I think that means a lot to the flavor of the building. The wood itself just does something in terms of a market, because sometimes if you go into modern market structures, they just don't have the same feel, the same smell that a market does. And so I think in maintaining that, they've maintained a good feel for the place, and I think that's part of what makes it attractive for people.
It was early Monday morning that we got a phone call from Liz, one of the managers here, and she said that the market's on fire. Like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, like, it's almost gone.
This is the voice of Sheila Shantz, longtime director of market operations and a community builder in every way.
And by that time, she had said that there was no point in me calling you. By the time I got here, there were flames coming through the roof, so I got on the road and came home. And I think we were just in shock. I remember sitting around, it was dark, thinking about, okay, what do we do? Let's pack up, let's go. Got in the car, drove home. I remember turning on to Weber Street, and I still sometimes get emotional on this, so forgive me. And they were lined up. People were lined up on Weber Street, King Street, and the building was gone. We drove up. They let us come in, and we talked to the firefighters and found out a little bit about what was going on. But as I was driving in, I noticed that there were quite a few vendors out there. There's quite a few people I didn't know also. And they were crying. There were a lot of people crying. So I thought, okay, got to go out and see the vendors. So I think that moment really confirmed for us how important a market is, not just our market, but a market is to the community. It's just the ties, the friendships, the fiercely loyal customers to vendors. It's not just a butcher, it's your butcher, it's your baker. And I think the comment that we heard the most in the days and weeks to come was, we're like a family, and we're here and we're going to support each other. Just the relationships that grew through that time, I think, and it was a terrible time, and especially for those who had lost their businesses, but it impacted everybody, and just how everyone came together to. Some people downsized in spaces so that others could get in and have a booth. And just the pouring out of support from community. I mean, we weren't even city run. We were a privately owned market, but people still wanted to, how can I help? What can I do? That was very overwhelming. And it was nice that the community was there to set up a way to help the vendors. The people just wanted to give money to help those vendors. So it was nice that the community joined in to try to figure out how to lend support. And just trades in the area are electricians and plumbers, and were on the phone almost immediately. What can I do? How can I help? And they were here, and that was on Monday. And on Thursday, we were open for market. And that was an incredible day, and even the media were here, and they were broadcasting from the market, and just everybody just seemed to come together, and it was quite amazing. We knew that we needed to get vendors in and operating quickly. So in order to do that, that's where the tent came into being. Basically the structure was there, all the services were there. So in talking with a number of the trades, I think this is the best way to get us up and going. And then we'll take a look at what do we need to carry us forward into the future. So I guess we were open by December. So we couldn't have built a new building in 3 months and had vendors back in a viable business again. So the tent came into being. We were able to get all of the vendors that wanted to be back. There were a few who had kind of been talking about retirement who didn't come back, but the majority of the vendors we were able to have back in by December. And then we were able to take some time to really think about what do we need to take this market forward into the future. What does the health department require? What do vendors need? So it gave us time then to speak with vendors, health department, think about what were some of the things that we were missing. And we knew that we needed to go a little bit bigger, but we also wanted to maintain the feel of what the old market was, because I think for a lot of people that it really meant something to them. There were lots of memories all tied up with the market, and so often when people talk about the market, they're talking about, I used to come here with my grandparents or my mother or whatever. So it was those memories that somehow we wanted to be able to recreate some of that. So the building definitely was a nod to the original building.
Sara, I'm so humbled by everyone sharing their stories with us, and I really appreciate them sharing this part of the emotional journey of that fire.
Marshall, we've learned so much about the history of the market, about the opportunities that these families took, about the values that they hold dear, and also about this community banding together, rebuilding, and moving forward.
Often when asked what makes the market so special, it always came back to, well, it's the experience. You might be coming out with your grocery list, but the experience was just as important as the groceries that you were picking up. I think we saw on a weekly basis mothers coming out with young children, and for the children, they were coming to get that balloon animal from the clown, or, jump in the jumpy castle or a pony ride. So it just became, I think, that experience that was part of your weekly routine and part of that community too. I think when that's the key to what the market was, I think you'd come out, you would sort of have your route to your favorite vendors, because again, fiercely loyal to particular vendors. And it's as much about chatting with, whether it's Sam or Peter or whoever the butcher is, or the flower lady. It's that conversation that you're having, and you're probably having it with the other people that are standing there as well. And pretty soon over the years, you continue to see the same people and their friends, and it becomes your social time as well. A number of the coffee booths, they originally had a booth where they sold coffee, and as time went on, they would pay for their booth to expand so that they can put in tables, because they have their coffee club, and these people are coming, regular groups that are there every week, and really, really tight bonds that have developed over the years, I think. Huge part of what the market is all about, as well as the food.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 2 of our special 3-part series on the St. Jacobs Farmers Market. Join us next time, where we're going to be hearing from market staff.
Market staff are remarkable. That's pretty clear that the vendors feel that way too.
Sure. Hi, my name's Shane Shedler. I'm in maintenance full-time on non-market days.
We're also going to dig into what market day means and what that preparation looks like.
For us to prepare for the market day with the food, and the entire day before is prepped.
And I'm really excited to dig into the future of the St. Jacobs Market Dish.
Me too. See you guys next time. Hey all, thanks for meeting us in Bonn Park. We hope you enjoyed this second part of our 3-episode series on the St. Jacobs Farmers Market in Waterloo, Ontario. Be sure to check out parts 1 and 3. Market Fire news coverage courtesy of CTV News.